السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. رب لا تذرني فردا وأنت خير الوارثين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We will continue to study the section Jinn of the Qur'an. We studied the first and second verses of the Qur'an, Jinn, section Jinn, and inshallah we will continue with the rest of the verses, inshallah. First, I would like to have a reminder here. And this summary of the reminder, inshallah, we are going to have it. So it is a more better readable form. And one more? No, one more doesn't fit. Okay. And here the second one. Now, let's read the summary for those who are watching later on or listening later on, may not have the opportunity to see the screen, so I will read it out. Through jinns, God is talking to us together, but we have to read the following verses as addressing us, ourselves, every individual being. So, when we look at the section, this section seems to be talking to jinns and about jinns, and let the human beings know who or what kind of creatures the jinns are. So we have to bear in mind that God is speaking to me in this Qur'an as I am reading it, but he is talking about jinns. It means he is addressing me. So I have to take the same message for myself. I wouldn't say God is speaking to jinns and it is concerned them only. So we will see that this section is in fact telling us about the unseen counter beings of human beings, how they react towards the message of the Qur'an. So we are expected to react to the Qur'an or respond back to the Qur'an as the jinns, the believing jinns did here. We can not really talking or gossiping about jinn. We cannot claim that there is no such things like human beings have spirit, feelings, consciousness with no material body. We are reading human jinn treated in the same manner in equal terms in the section Rahman. So when we read the section Rahman of the Quran, whole section is addressing to jinn and human beings at the same time, and not going into details of the nature of jinn, responses of jinn to the Quran. Not this in this respect, but the result of our life here, how is really evaluated in the next creation. So I think this word is wrong here. How to react the response. I think if I am wrong, please correct me. Response, the message towards it. I think correct. Yeah.
Brother Ali, you want to say respond to, R-E-S-P-O-N-D?
Respond to. Yeah, correct. Thank you. To respond to the message of the Quran. Is it correct now?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, we are reading human jinn treated in the same manner in equal terms in the section Rahman. We may conclude that jinn must have been given ruh, like human beings, or any kind of potentiality to recognize the difference between truth and falsehood, but not with physical body. This is the nature of jinn. We have talked about it a lot. This is just a reminder and summary of what we have talked so far. So the following is this. This section is telling us two things at the same time. One, we have our counterparts with no bodily existence, and then letting us know that you have another beings exist with but no body counterpart. Two, we have talked about a lot as well. They too have same qualities as we do, apart from body, of course. There is a communication between we and they, or between us and them. They have not studied, I think between us is better, isn't it? Or am I right or wrong, please?
Yes.
Us is better.
And them.
Okay. We have not studied their reality, so we have no knowledge about them except what the Quran teaches us. We have not went into the reality of the existence of jinn. Like, for example, nowadays, we are not studying the real existence of spirit, human spirit, real existence of human beings. We are not studying that. But the Quran refers to their existence and gives the example in the narrations, miracle narrations of the Prophet Sulaiman, that he communicated with them. Through these verses, the Quran is inferring that you human beings, if you really investigate, you will communicate with the jinns as well. You can communicate with them, but we are not studying. That is why we cannot discover. For example, we know that in the narration, from the narrations of the Solomon's Prophet Sulaiman's miracles, Prophet Sulaiman flew in air. Okay, but we studied and we found out that, oh, we can also flew, not one of us, 5,000, 1,000 people, or even heavier loads can be carried in the air. There was a way. So if someone has never seen and heard of the existence of airplanes, they will say this is prophetic miracle, has nothing to do with that, and we cannot do it. Exactly, we are in the same position as far as the existence of jinn and the human spirit are concerned. But we are receiving invitations, whisperings from their Satan ones, or the Satan version of them. The angel-like ones are also giving the messages to us, but we don't recognize them because we have spirit. Maybe we haven't discussed this, which already recognizes the truth. We don't notice it and nor be aware of it, that they are whispering us. We only notice the non-real ones. It means satanic whisperings. Yeah. That is, sorry. Satanic whisperings. Now, we haven't talked about this last point. First of all, the Satan's whisperings, we know that wrong ideas exist. What do I mean by it? For example, if I state a lie, if I write a lie, if I write a sentence which is completely lie, my writing of the sentence and the existence of sentence has a physical body and exists. But the content of what I wrote doesn't exist. That's why we have to understand Satan exists, but content of what he suggests, whispers, doesn't exist. Exactly the same way. So when Satan whispers, the disbelieving version of jinn whispers us, we know that it doesn't exist. The content of it doesn't exist. And we call it is satanic whisperings. How about believing jinns, whether they are really inspiring something truth to us or not? Now, it is a little bit difficult to grasp the difference because our spirit recognizes the truth. Our spirit recognizes the truth. And the truth is fixed. When the believing jinns support us, inspires us the truth, we don't distinguish because my spirit says the same thing. And believing jinns say the same thing. So how we can get support from, as the Qur'an says, God will support his prophet, believing people, himself, angels, Gabriel, the chief angel, let's call it, the special envoy of God among the angels, will support his prophet and his angels. Now, can we get it? We get it. How? Especially angels and God, we can easily understand how they are supporting us. God creates the physical beings, our feelings, through the angelic side of the physical beings. God supports the truth. And we can look at the physical being out there. We can easily understand that in the creation of these physical beings, there are signs pointing to the qualities of their creator. So we communicate with the help of the physical beings through their angelic side in order to support and feel confident about belief, the truth. Now, when it comes to falsehood, disbelieving jinns, they don't have any reality so that I will see a sign in it. It contradicts the truth. There is no sign to anything. It is false. It doesn't exist. So when believing jinns supports us because they don't have physical existence. This is very interesting that, alhamdulillah, God blessed me with this understanding. They don't know physical body like creation, so that the angelic side of creation supports the truth. So I can see the physical existence of creation and deduce from it or detect from it what the signs refer to their creator in their existence. I can say that really the creation of the universe is coming to aid me in order to make sure that the truth is really truth, so that I can comfortably confirm it. But jinns don't have physical beings so that I will see their angelic side. That is why we don't recognize the support coming from jinns in the positive sense. I hope this is very interesting for me. It makes logical consistency, and also what the message of the Qur'an tells me, they support each other. So logical conclusion and the news of the Qur'an coincides together and support each other. I say alhamdulillah. That is new for me, and we have not talked about this before. Now let's remember what was the, do you have any questions and concerns about this summary? Summary finished. Then we will go back to the verses, inshallah. Now, if you have, please go ahead. I will love to hear you, your voice, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Why don't I really share it? It was my mistake. So قل أوحي إلي أنه استمع نفر من الجن فقالوا إنا سمعنا قرآنا عجبا يهدي إلى الرشد فآمنا به ولن نشرك بربنا أحدا. So this is the verse we studied last week, but we will have another way of reading it today. Say, it has been revealed to me that a group of the jinn listened to the Quran and said, indeed, we have heard an amazing recitation. What does it mean? Are we in the position when we hear the recitation of the Qur'an? It means when we read the Qur'an, but we may read it and listen as well when we hear as well. So do we feel that we have heard an amazing recitation? Do we? It means, are we excited? Have we thought about it? Do we really know what the Quran is saying? And go into a little bit deep meaning of it? Try to understand each verse within the context of the whole Quran, so that we will conclude that that is an amazing news for me. Now, it addresses me too. You will have, and the Quran says, you will have the same feelings, excitement, as soon as you hear the Quran or you read the Quran, but you have to study, get ready. That is human conditions. And the second verse says, the Quran guides to the right course of perfection, and we believe in it. What still jinns are speaking in the narration of these verses. We believe in it, and we shall from now on never associate anyone with our Lord. It means after hearing the truth, we have to check ourselves. Now we are reading the narration about what Jinn says. It is about us, what we should say as well. How can we do it? By studying, taking it seriously. We believe in it, and we shall, from now on, after hearing the truth, never commit shirk with anything, with anything at all in this world. What does it mean? Never regard any of these beings, any of the events that we are experiencing in this universe, in this world, as to be the source of anything. They are just reminders, they are just signs to take our attention and direct it to their creator. So we have to see what God is doing within every creation, what the creator is doing within every creation, speaking to me through the creation and reminding me that I should pay attention to its creator. And also, especially for human beings, the things are happening, the events are happening, or the personal and social life that we are experiencing here in this world. We have to remember that this is created by God. Although, for example, tornado happened and something destroyed, that the human beings are destroyed, properties of the human beings are destroyed, etc. Whatever happened, we know that the tornado is created by God. So if there is an event which are experiencing through a man and a human being who has free will. Now, the difference between tornado and human interference in an event. Now, tornado has no free will. However, God creates it, it acts according to God's will. Now, that is why we don't complain about it, but we complain the creator saying that why did God create tornado and knocked down many people's houses, and they are now in a horrible situation. We don't criticize tornado. We criticize God when something happens that we don't like. That's very human, isn't it? That sounds familiar enough. So when something happens through people or somebody else or through myself, my own mistake, I say, this man did to me because he has free will. I have only 50% right, not 100%. What does it mean? Really, this man is blameworthy, and if it's something serious, criminal, because he has chosen the wrong option. That is one side. But this is 50% side. How about the other 50%? Oh, this event is also created by God for me to go through, to experience it, so educate myself, learn what is right, what is wrong, how some people can do that, and I should never be that like them. I should never support this idea or this understanding, this behavior, and I have to ask, or I have to take refuge with God, with the evil of these kind of people, with the evil of their counterpart, disbelieving jinn. I have to take refuge with God with it. That's what I have to say. Yes, this man is guilty, but the event is created by God for my education, for my training. That is why it is important for me to understand the events as created by God for my own training, teaching. Yes, some people are maybe harmed. Yes, they are most of the time because of this wrong choice of certain people, some people. God is the one who created the event. He will take care of it. Don't worry about it. Take your lesson, and learn what God is really revealing to you, saying that, look, don't support these people. Try to prevent it because you have free will. Because you have free will. Use it in this way so that you will be supporting the truth and right behavior, and really trying to prevent people from falling into wrong behavior and false ideas, so that I have to have a stand in the world. I cannot be impartial. That is what the news is given to me through God by creating these events. So if I am happy with a good event, happened through or created by God through a means of a good man, I will appreciate it. I will support it. That's why Qur'an keeps encouraging. Why don't you support the Prophet? Since it is delivering the truth and it is helping you to deliver yourself from falling into wrong ideas and wrong behavior. So let's see. So we have to read these verses as speaking to us, and we have to understand that we should never, never commit shirk. I think we all understand shirk by now. It means assigning a power or a quality or some qualities to created needy beings which have no quality to be the source of existence of what they are doing, what they are suggesting us. So as if when we look at something, it is happening by itself. So that is not our subject now, but when we investigate it, it doesn't have the quality to create itself and its actions, but it is given existence by the creator of the universe in this way. They are practicing it. So we are happy with it, with this understanding, and never commit shirk. If this understanding makes sense, we should never commit shirk and never assign any divine power to any created being, because we got the guidance, we received the guidance from the Qur'an. So we studied these two verses as from Jinn's perspective last week, today from human perspective, as we are listening to it. So this is the summary we studied at the beginning of today's discussion, and this is the second part of it. And now we will continue with the following verse. Verse 3. وَأَنَّهُ تَعَالَى جَدُّ رَبِّنَا مَا اتَّخَذَ صَاحِبَةً وَلَا وَلَدًا. Now, after hearing the message, they concluded, now we believe that. It means where, means the continuation of the previous verses. Our Lord exalted his messenger. Ta'ala, it means exalted his majesty, his highness, Ta'ala. So it means something high, beyond imagination. And this belief that our Lord has neither taken a spouse nor a child. Very frequently we study this matter, which is quite a number of times, really, a considerable number of times, repeated in the Qur'an, traditionally referred to Christian theology. But this is an historical event. It is not an abstract notion that we can associate ourselves with within our own existence, rather than referring it to a certain tradition in the theology of a certain religion. There is an hadith narration about it, and people keep referring, especially, anyway, the commentators on the Quran, not all of them definitely, but a majority of them really refer to this hadith. These companions asked the Prophet, who are these people who say God has a son or spouse or child? Who are they? And the Prophet says, these Christian people. No. It was wrong. The companion said, are they the Christians? And the other ones also, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. In that case, it is studied. The other one is maghdub ones. I mean, rejected ones. Maghdub is, go away. I have nothing to do with you. Once those people, they said, are they Jews? And he said, yes. Why? Then we can understand that those people claim that God has a spouse or a child. If they really do, that is another question. And straight away, as the Quran states it clearly, not many. I don't think any Christian do that. And they don't say it straight away, but they are confusing there. That is not our concern now here. So our concern is, so we cannot, we should understand this hadith so that we will say, in this discussion, this man said it has nothing to do with Christian people or Jewish people, nothing to do with people either, in general. Oh, but there's an hadith. Okay, we have to understand that. Now, companions see the idea, the concrete form of the idea, and enjoyed, practiced by the Christians. So they can only understand, because they are not theologians. They can only understand that, some Christians talk about God the Son in one way or another, God the Son in some form or another. God the Son. Are those people the Christians that the God is really saying they are just straight people, or really went out of the truth completely? He says yes, because their understanding of these people's ideas is also rejected in the Quran. The ideas is rejected in the Quran. What is the idea now? Whether the companions understood it, because they are not theologians. Most of them are illiterate people. It doesn't mean that they are stupid. No, they don't know how to read and write. They don't study, but they use their wisdom, their brain. So when they understand that this is concrete, this concrete example of it, physically existing body of it, is Christians, and the other category is the Jews. So we have to understand that the prophet is confirming their reference to the idea represented by certain people. But we have to read the Quran in this way, always. When the Quran says, "Oh, believing people," it doesn't mean that Quran is talking about a certain group of people. No, it is a universal message. Believing people means whoever claims to be a believer must have this idea or must listen to it. If I say that, yeah, I really believe that there must be a creator, so I have to say, oh, he's speaking to me. Nothing to do with the people. What belief requires in itself, this quality is the quality that God is addressing to. God is addressing to. We shouldn't forget this. This quality that God is addressing to. When the Quran says, when God says in the Quran, "Oh, hypocrites," he doesn't speak about man. What? Hypocrite idea or understanding. Hypocritic understanding. So I have to say, if I have this understanding, this word is speaking to me. So I have to watch out, because there is a very severe threat, very really tough threat about hypocrites. Not very much so for disbelieving people, but about the language of the Quran is really very sharp and severe about hypocrites, because it is so delicate subject. Everybody must really be extremely careful, if not tremble, about hypocrite attitudes. For myself, I have to say, do I have enough the traces of this? Oh, which is really a serious matter. Yeah, because it covers up the truth, but openly, as if it doesn't cover up the truth. That is hypocrisy. The old hypocrite attitude covers up the truth, but as if it doesn't. So I will not easily recognize that it is right or wrong, because it is somehow covered through my attitude, through my biased attitude. I'm right, I'm right. And I don't know really it is right or wrong. I didn't investigate it. So I have to uncover it and then discover what is in it. So that the God is saying, be careful, be careful, be careful. Where? Because denial is easy to recognize, but hypocrisy is not easy to recognize. It may have an appearance to me that I am really right. Why? Because I am a good man. My heart is pure. My feelings are pure. This kind of claims, but I don't know the outcome, because I don't see and analyze the truthfulness or falsehood of the outcome, because I took my guard, if you like, saying that I am already right anyways. So I don't question it. But it is close to questioning. We have to be careful. We have to be open always what we are doing. So let's come to the idea now. Well, Rabbena, our Lord has neither taken a spouse nor a child. We talk about it, but it is important. It means child means inheriting the qualities of his parents. Now, and spouse means somebody only through which my generation, it means I produce something. It means God created the universe, but with the help of cow, I am getting milk. Spouse, a support to the creator or for the creator. Do we understand this, Sahiba? Not necessarily, God forbid, to understand it in this way. Sahiba is female, so it is wife. Nothing to do with it. A pair, for example, we call this spouse and wife and husband as a pair. So why? They are complementing each other. So God doesn't need anything else to complement him or help him. Why? He is absolute. You cannot anything to the absolute. He must be absolute. He must be absolute. So when it comes to welet means anything, any child inherits all the qualities of me, and as he or she grows, becomes like me. It means anything of this universe, any part of this universe cannot be associated with the creator, saying that it is God's son. It means it has the quality of divinity, divine qualities. So as it functions in this world, like the creator of the universe, but within its own area, own field, it is own environment or whatever. The typical example I gave about cow. The cow is producing the milk. It is the source of the existence of the milk. Means I am assigning cow as to be the child of God within its own environment, producing the milk. Not the creator of the universe. Now, I am the father, that's it, with no question. But my child is the has the same qualities as I am, it becomes like an I am. He gets married, he produces another son. I mean, it doesn't, but we know we are talking in an analogy, making an analogy. He produces something else, again, like me. So never regard that God has given existence to anything, to this anything of this world which has divine qualities. So when we say this has this effect, this cause has this effect, means we are assigning walad, child, to God. That is why the jinns got this news and said that no, definitely we believe that our God never taken a spouse or child, means this. So, of course, it is obvious, isn't it, as we have been talking about, that this the section Jinn is talking, giving news about the reality, what the reality of jinns are. We have been studying for how many? For this is the 5th week, I think. Yeah, this is the 5th week, the part 5, today's discussion. And that was the introduction, long introduction. It needed to be really to be made clear that our minds that definitely jinns exist. But speaking to jinn like us, with free will, with spirit, with real existence, but not bodily, physical existence. Now, speaking to us as well, the same section. You shouldn't do it. Take an example of the believing jinn. You also be careful about really assigning a spouse or child. I'm using the Quranic word, but we know that this is nothing to do with spouse and nothing to do with child, really. But what they represent. So I should be very careful not to do that as well. That is the both way of reading the same section. We will continue doing this, inshallah, all throughout our studies of the section Jinn. I think all entirety of the Jinn should be studied in this way. We will see as we go. Any question about this verse or the things that we have been talking from the beginning of today's discussion? So, but if you have, please go ahead. Otherwise, I will continue. All right. وإنه كان يقول سفيهنا على الله شططا. It's just how do you say falsehood, outrageous falsehood, shatata, just impossible to imagine how a conscious being can say this. So our Sefi, now we will read the translation, and that the foolish among us had been saying outrageous falsehoods about God. We have studied that jinns are our counterparts with nobody. It means our counterparts should not be exactly the same, but opposite way in its existence, but doing the same functioning, really. That is the counterpart. Well, in the very, very simple example, the Zawjain we studied, the Quran emphasizes on the importance of the creation, which is created in pairs. But the pairs are contradictory conditions, but at the same time complementing each other's functioning, like wife and husband, without any of them, any of each cannot produce child. So they seem to be opposite. One of them is male, the other one is female. But they have different body structure. When they really complement each other, child is born, productive, useful. So amazing way of creation is taking place in the universe. Everything has pairs in the universe. So human beings also in general, the male and female is one category in human species, but jinn is the counter part of their existence. We complement each other, inshallah. So we will learn this, and we have been studying why we are not aware of the existence of jinn, etc. We talked about examples in real life, in the Qur'an. If someone is interested, go back and listen to the beginning, from the beginning of this series, inshallah. Now, and the foolish ones among us had been saying outrageous falsehoods about God. We know that foolish ones really saying outrageous falsehoods about God among human beings as well. So we have to watch out. We have to watch out whether we listen or read the publications, listen to video recordings nowadays, for those people who really whisper outrageous falsehoods about God, saying that if there was a God, what does he do, and why is it so? Why the evil are going on? Yeah, we talked about it a lot. We have to understand that there's an explanation, but it is not our subject today. Definitely, we are giving reference to it on many occasions in our discussions, throughout our discussions, inshallah. So that we understand that we have to watch out. And we have to know that there are foolish among us, human beings, are really spreading outrageous falsehoods about God. Yeah, denying there is no such being, the universe is continuing in its existence by itself. Lots of claims or natural things. All of this really speculative vocabulary they use, or let me remember the word, the concepts. That's the concepts they make up. You can make up any concept. It doesn't have to be true. So they are really producing many concepts. The theories about how the universe came into existence by itself, or it is eternal. Lots of these outrageous falsehoods about God is continuing and spread by the foolish people among human beings as well. So this news is for us. But believing jinns are aware of it as well. After they read the Qur'an or listened to the Qur'an, became aware of the revelation, we will see how the Qur'an is referring to this. After receiving the message from the Qur'an, from God, through the Qur'an, through the creation, these jinns understood. Before receiving the message from God, they didn't know. We are coming here. وَإِنَّا ظَنَنَّا أَن لَّن تَقُولَ الْإِنسُ وَالْجِنُّ عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا. Here we are. Although we had thought that no human or jinn would dare tell a lie about God. It is very important. So people, if they don't know what the truth is, if they never paid attention what the creation is revealing about its creator, from the angelic side of the creation. And what the prophets are saying, they don't know. So they think a man who will really reject the obvious truth, the creator, not at all. So they say everybody is doing something nice. They are so innocent and naive that the people, some people among us, really keep producing outrageous falsehoods under many different concepts and definitions they accept about denying the reality of God. We shouldn't be innocent. So by saying that, oh, the people are okay, yes, they seem to be okay, but what is going on in their mind, we have to be very careful. We have to watch out. Inshallah. So although we had thought that no human or jinn would dare tell a lie about God, only after hearing the truth, that's my explanation. I usually write these explanations on my notes site, but I thought I have to share this one with you because I'm not sharing my notes with you. Only after hearing the truth, they realize that the opposite of it also exists. It means opposite of revelation also exists. But they realize that after receiving the message from God. That is why we have to be careful to be aware of the revelation and become acquainted with it, familiar with it by study. I mean, we should really study the Quran seriously as much as we can and spare certain times in our life. Otherwise, we will be ignorant of what is going on out in the outside world. And we will be just carried away by media and telling everything, interpreting the things. We may think that the journalists are innocent. We may think that, people who deliver messages to people are innocent. No, we have to watch out. But in order to know what is right and what is wrong, we have to have the criterion in our hand. The criterion is be careful what the universe is revealing and be careful what the prophetic message is telling. If someone doesn't hear the prophetic message, they have to watch out, but these verses have not reached them, so they are not responsible for it. They have their responsibility within their own capacity. Well, they have spirit, they have some sort of consciousness like you and I, and they have to use it. They are using it partially, fully. That is their responsibility. But as far as we are concerned, since we are hearing this message from the Quran, so that it is for us to pay attention that we should not be naive for anything, even if someone comes and says, behaves in a very human manner, but at the same time, his ideas are very egoistic. Or he is just imposing himself or other benefits, spiritual benefits, honor or something among people, or financial benefits, or he is satisfying his caprices by sharing his hatred about God, because he knows that if he accepts God and then he doesn't know that if he asks for forgiveness, he will totally be forgiven, but He thinks that he's going to punish me because I denied him. So he takes revenge by spreading the falsehood. We have to be very careful. We have to watch out, even while we are here, as I am speaking most of the time, so maybe always. I may be deceiving you. Watch out. You know, we study the books of Nursi on Saturdays. The Nursi himself says, look, I wrote this and presented to you, and you are now receiving it, but be careful, take your precautions. I may be deceiving you. Watch out. Use your human qualities. Don't take it for granted that whatever I say is true. No, question it. He says himself about his writings. That is why we have to be very careful while we are studying the Quran. Oh, these people are very good people, very nice people, sincere brothers, sisters. They are studying the Quran. But it doesn't mean that what we are saying is really true. Yes, we think, as far as I am concerned, yes, we think this is true, but let me see. There's a message on one hour. I must leave now. Thank you for this informative discussion. Okay, so I think the time is up. We have to stop here. Thank you for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Let's make our closing prayer and see you next Monday or Tuesday evening, the same hour again at 6 o'clock Eastern Time, and Saturday at 11 a.m. inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.